You're sitting across the table from a seller who's convinced their house is worth $850,000. Your CMA says $750,000. They're telling you about all the upgrades they've done, how much they love their neighborhood, what their neighbor's house sold for 3 years ago, and you can feel it. They're not gonna budge. You have a choice. Take the listing and hope for the best, or walk away. Most agents take the listing, and that decision costs them everything. I'm Emily Shelton with Shelton Property Group, and today we're talking about pricing conversations with sellers, how to have them, when to walk away, and why taking an overpriced listing is the most expensive mistake you can make in this business. Here's what you need to understand. Pricing is a business decision, not an emotional one. Your sellers don't get to price their home based on what they need for their next home, what they think that it's worth, what Zillow says, or what their friend has told them. The market sets the price, period. And your job as the listing agent is to present the data, explain what the market is telling us, and guide them to a smart pricing decision, not to validate their fantasy number, and certainly not to tell them what they want to hear so you can get the listing. If they won't listen to the data, you have to walk away, because an overpriced listing isn't just bad for them, it's catastrophic for your business. And let me show you why. Let's start with the initial pricing conversations at the listing appointment. This is where you set the entire trajectory of the listing. Step number 1, lead with data, not opinions. I show up to every listing appointment with a comprehensive CMA, not just 3 comps, but a thorough analysis of active listings in their price range, pending sales, and then sold comparables from the last 90 days. Days on market trends, price per square foot analysis, features and conditions, everything. And here's the key. I don't say, I think your house is worth X. I say, based on what the market is telling us, here's the price range we should position your home to sell within 14 days. And yes, I'm specific about that time frame. The data in Austin right now suggests that homes that are priced correctly are selling within 14 days. Sellers always have objections, but we put $50,000 into the kitchen. Our neighbor sold for more. Zillow says it's worth this. We need to get X amount so that we can buy our next house. And here's how I respond to every single one. I completely understand. And here's what I know. The market doesn't care what you put into the house. It doesn't care what you need. It only cares what a buyer is willing to pay right now in this market for this house. And when they push back with an unrealistic number, I use this line. I have no data that supports that decision. Not, I disagree with you. Not, you're wrong. Just, I have no data that supports that decision. It's clean, it's factual, it's not personal. I'm very clear about what's happening in our market right now. We're the #1 buyer's market in the country. Buyers have options. They're comparing every house in this price range and they want a deal. If we price this competitively, we'll attract more serious buyers quickly. If we overprice it, we'll sit on the market. And every week that goes by, your negotiation power decreases. But here's the part most agents can't do. If they insist on overpricing, I walk away from the listing. I say, I appreciate you considering me, but I can't in good conscience take this listing at this price. I have no data that supports it, and I don't want to waste your time or mine. If you change your mind and want to discuss pricing that's supported by the market, I'm here, but I can't move forward at this number. And you know what happens? About half of them call me back within a week, ready to price it right. The other half, they list with someone who will tell them what they want to hear. They sit on the market for 7, 8, 9 months, and I know I dodged a bullet. Let me tell you what happens when you don't walk away from an overpriced listing. Early in my career, I took a listing I shouldn't have. The seller wanted $625,000, my data suggested $550,000. But I was newer, I wanted the listing, my sign in the yard, and I convinced myself that maybe I was wrong. Maybe the market would surprise me. So I took it and I went all in. Professional photography, drone, staging, videography. I spent $2,500 out of pocket on marketing. I promoted it everywhere. I held open houses every weekend, and here's what happened. Week 1, we got 2 showings and no offers. Week 3, I called the seller. We need to talk about the price. We've only had 3 showings and 0 offers. The market is telling us we're overpriced. The seller's response, let's give it another few weeks. After week 6, still no offers and slow showings. I showed them the data again. Comparable homes priced lower than we were that were going under contract. I said, we need to reduce to $550,000. They agreed to $600,000. Week 10, one lowball offer came in at $525,000. The seller was insulted and they rejected it. Week 14, we had another price reduction conversation. We need to get to $550,000. I told them that number that the market was telling us, and they agreed to $575,000. By this point, I had spent $2,500 on marketing, probably 100 hours on listings, showing, marketing, social media, follow-up, neighborhood research, price reduction conversations, the emotional energy I can't even quantify. And here's what nobody talks about. The listing was draining me so much that I couldn't show up fully for my other clients. I was exhausted. I was frustrated. My family was getting the worst version of me because I was consumed by this one bad listing. At day 154, we got an offer at 510, less than my original CMA, less than the original lowball offer, and the seller accepted because they were desperate. I made $14,000 on that deal. After marketing costs, taxes, 154 days of my life I'll never get back, I probably netted $8,000. Most expensive listing you'll ever take is the wrong one. When you take an overpriced listing, here's what it actually costs you. Upfront marketing costs. You're spending hundreds or thousands on photography, staging, videography, ads, materials for the listing that is not priced to sell. Uncompensated time. Every showing, every open house, every pricing conversation, every time spent on market data research, this is time you're not getting paid for and time you can't get back. The energy drain. It's mentally and emotionally exhausting to deal with an unrealistic seller. And that energy drain makes it very hard to show up for your other clients, your family, and yourself. The opportunity costs. Every hour you're spending on that overpriced listing, you're not spending on activities that are actually building your business. Now, sometimes you do take the listing and they're at the right price and then the market shifts. Or maybe you misjudge the price slightly. It happens. When it's clear you need a price reduction, here's how I handle this. Step one, let the data tell the story. I don't just call and say, we need to reduce the price. I present a complete market update. Here's our activity, 5 showings, 3 feedback responses. Here's what's happened in the market since we listed. These 2 comparable homes went pending at this price, and here's where we need to be to generate offers. Step 2, use this line. When they resist, I use it again and again. I have no data that supports listing at that price. Or buyers are choosing homes that are priced better. I understand you don't want to reduce, but I have no data that suggests that staying at this price will result in a sale. You did not hire me to list your home. You hired me to sell your home. This is what we need to do to sell your home. Step 3, be willing to have the conversation multiple times. Sometimes it takes more than one conversation. Sometimes you have to reduce twice or even 3 times because the seller wasn't ready to hear it the first time. But every time you come with data, every time you make it a market-driven decision, not an emotional one. Step 4, be willing to part ways. If they absolutely refuse to price realistically, even after weeks or months of data proving them wrong, you have a decision to make. Sometimes the right answer is to let the listing expire or mutually agree to part ways. You're not doing them any favors by keeping them listed at the wrong price, and you're definitely not doing yourself any favors. Here's why I'm so passionate about this. Having the confidence to have hard, data-driven conversations and being willing to walk away from bad listings is the best thing you can do for your career. I've built an almost 100% referral-based business because I only work with clients who trust my expertise. I don't chase cold leads. I don't take listings just to have signs in yards. When I have a pricing conversation with a seller, they know I'm having it because I care about their outcome, not just because I need their listing. And when I walk away from an overpriced listing, I'm protecting my time, my energy, and my ability to serve my good clients well. That's the business model that allows me to show up fully for my family, serve my clients with excellence, and grow 25% year over year, even in the toughest market we've seen in decades. If you're tired of dealing with overpriced listings, if you're exhausted from working with sellers who won't listen, or if you just want to build a business that doesn't drain you, I want to help. I'm offering a 20-minute strategy call where we'll look at your current business, identify what's holding you back, and create a plan to move forward with confidence. The link to my calendar is in the description. Let's build a business you actually love. If this resonates, subscribe and comment or share it with a friend. What's the worst overpriced listing you've ever taken? Let's commiserate and strategize. Remember, you aren't being hired to list homes. You are being hired and you get paid to sell homes. The most expensive listing is the wrong one. Have the hard conversations, trust the data, and be willing to walk away. I'm Emily Shelton with Shelton Property Group. Faith, family,